Did Ed Farhat ever have heat with the Iron Sheik over the use of the Sheik name? Did they ever work against each other? And if not, who would you pick to win in a fight?
Oh, good God. Well, first of all, I don't know if there was ever, because they obviously coexisted somewhat in the wrestling business until Sheik passed away. But would they have ever been in the same place when at the same time, I guess is what I'm asking. Would they have ever been on the same card? Would Sheik, the original Sheik, was only wrestling independents by the early 80s and in the Midwest and in Detroit and then in Japan still.
Did he ever make an appearance in Toronto after the office stopped booking talent for Toronto?
I do not think so. I don't think so.
That's the only thing I could have thought of, yeah.
Crockett brought him back to Detroit, and he hadn't been to the Cobo in almost 10 years in 87. That's why it drew that $100,000 house. So the point is, first of all, I don't know if they would have ever been on the same card at the same place because the Iron Sheik worked in Memphis. He worked in the WWF, etc. That Sheik had already pretty much cycled out of the territories except for Japan. I don't know what they thought of each other or whether the Sheik was, pissed off that the Iron Sheik became the Iron Sheik. As far as who would win in a fight, the Iron Sheik would have stretched the original Sheik in any type of wrestling event, and the original Sheik would have possibly either eaten Khosrau's eyeball or sliced him with a razor blade. So it really just depends on which one was the first one to know that the fight was going to take place. That would have been the winner. And we should do some research on that. Have they ever been in the same place, or were they ever in the same place, rather, at the same time?
Yeah, it's a great.
You would have seen a picture.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't think of where they would have been seen together. Because, again, like you said, other than, after he worked with in Memphis with Lawler, where did the Sheik tour? He wasn't in the AWA. He was never in the Northeast after, 72, 73, 72, I think. He didn't go to Florida. He didn't go to Georgia. He didn't go to Mid-Atlantic. I don't think they would have run into each other.
Now, wait a minute.
Toronto was the one place I thought of because the Sheik had the relationship there, and then Khosrow started going in there when Mid-Atlantic got the relationship, but I guess not.
And also in Japan, Sheik went for Baba, whereas Khosrow would have gone when he went for Inoki because of the Vince connection, right?
Yes, because when Vern was trying to work with the with All Japan, he was already gone from there. So yes.
There you go. So somebody, if you can produce a picture, I bet Sheik probably, knowing how protective the original Sheik was of his gimmick, and just the fact that somebody had to start saying the original Sheik.
Yeah,
he probably wouldn't be very happy.
When I grew up, that's what I knew him as. So it's weird, now it's kind of reverted back. People just call him the Sheik. But for so many years, everyone had to call him the original Sheik because of the Iron Sheik.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that didn't get over. And I'll tell you a story. As a matter of fact, I've told this before, but this was before your time, young man. It was in 88. It was in 88 that they brought the Sheik back to Kobo, I believe. For the Great American Bash. At the time, we're at Crockett's office in Charlotte doing the local promos, right? And at that time, I was lucky enough for 2 or 3 weeks. I did the promo because I think it was Fantastics in the Midnight and a Scaffold match because they're just, dropping the cow. Everything's on there. But also, Dusty had told me put in a little word, for the Sheik's match because it was going to be Sheik and – was it Sheik and Dusty against Kevin Sullivan? And Kevin Sullivan told me put in a word for Sheik's match because it's going to be Sheik and Dusty against Kevin Sullivan and Dick Murdoch, I think. And then they switched Sheik and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I cut a little promo on the Sheik's match too. It's going to be the night he comes home, the most fearsome man that's ever walked the floor of the Kobo Arena will be blah, 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 and all that stuff, right? I'm having fun. And Luger comes over to me, he says, really, him? He's going to be there? I said, yeah. And he raced the guy with the big stomach, and I'm like, no, that's the Iron Sheik. This is the Sheik. The Sheik is in Detroit at the Kobo Arena. This is the biggest thing that's ever happened. We're going to draw 10,000 people because he didn't know that there was the Sheik, Lex Luger, at that time. And so then he shows up, and there's 10,000 people there to see the guy that he never even knew existed, apparently.